So as part of London's Calling and Cloud Analogy, we're celebrating a decade of being in the Salesforce ecosystem. It's really a perfect time for us to reflect and to look at how far we've come. So really, over the next 45 minutes, we're going to really explore how Salesforce has evolved, not just as a platform, but also really as a catalyst for innovation, growth, and digital transformation across different industries. So we're joined by two fantastic guests today. Francis Pindar, the co-founder of London's Calling. As you're probably well aware, he's one of the largest Salesforce community events in Europe. And Francis has really lived and breathed cloud computing for the last 13 years. He's helped a lot of companies with their digital transformation strategies. He's taught over about 60,000 people across 154 countries through his Salesforce courses and all his training programs. And we also have Ajay Dubedi. He's the founder and CEO of Cloud Analogy, which is really a driving Salesforce consulting partner with deep expertise in driving CRM success and for clients all around the globe. Ajay has really led the digital transformation projects across different industries with a really sharp focus on scalability and impact. So whether you're new to Salesforce or if you've been part of the journey from the start, well, this conversation will be promises something for everybody. So should we get started? Let's see. Well, if we're looking at look at Salesforce now and then. So Francis, you've had a front row seat to Salesforce's growth over the last few years. From CRM basics to now to generative AI. For you, what stands out most to you in this journey?
Wow. Okay, it's a big question.
Okay.
I think so. I started in the Salesforce ecosystem probably about 15 years ago, 18 years ago, something around there. Yeah. And I think the way, we had mobile coming in, which kind of everybody thought, everybody's going to use mobile devices and never use the desktop again. And that didn't quite happen. Then we had the shift from classic to lightning in the Salesforce ecosystem, which I think was quite a major move. But now we're kind of into the AI world. And I think of everything we've had up to now, I think AI has the possibility of really disrupting a lot more, I think, than we thought of in previous kind of revolutions like mobile revolution and different tech evolutions over the years. And I think one of those is because of how we interface with applications, right? Now it's quicker just to talk to an AI than it is to actually interface to it and write an email. So I think that's where I think now the disruption is happening. But I think Salesforce has always been the front and center of all that kind of evolution. And they realize that. And I think it's just making sure everybody else realizes that as well and comes on the journey with them.
Okay, yeah. I guess, Ajay, just to bring you into the conversation here, you've had vast experience of working with Salesforce clients over the years. What have you learned really about growth in CRM over the last decade that I guess maybe every developer or company should really have in mind?
Absolutely. So I have tons of experience, good and bad both. So I would like to say, I've seen Salesforce itself changing a lot, which in itself is a good thing. There are many products or clouds which they launched and then they upgraded it or took a step back as well in certain cases. And along with Salesforce, the most important thing which I have seen is the innovation never ends. So I would say always keep innovating is the focus which I'm able to see and get inspired by such amazing product as Salesforce itself. And also, this is something which I forecast is the usability of the CRM. So probably 10 years back or 15 years back, so around 15 years back, I started my career. And during that time period, it was all data entry. Like people were entering data manually and things like that. And even that has changed. Yeah, even that has changed a lot. Everything is integrated. Like boom, you have a data at one place and it can be spread across, and the data can be interpreted in multiple different ways. And probably the AI is coming in the right time, and that's where the utilization of data in the right way. as a knowledge, as a true knowledge, will be happening, making the user's life a bit much better.
I think even with AI, right, it's going to, even just cleaning data, well, I'll just use my AI to clean it based on all the data that's on the internet, right? Or give me more information on these records. I think it's going to change a lot, right?
Yeah, I have so many examples of customers. There was a customer and the first uh, they were brand new to CRM, so that itself was a surprise to me. Like in this age and day, like how can
How can you survive without, right?
the answer to that particular question was they were so happy with the Excel sheet itself, like just using a piece of sheet. Like they were like, "This is our CRM," and I'm like, "No way, no way, you can't call this a CRM, right?" So that even
Which version of the Excel sheet are you looking at, right?
yeah. So it's very interesting on to convince a particular customer to try to use something which can revolutionize or speed up the entire process 10x, right? So
Yeah.
lots of examples, and where we are able to do that customer adoption and everything on the CRM. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think even with AI, right, I'm thinking like that kind of evolution of Salesforce. There was, App Exchange came along, and it's like, great, there's App Exchange. It fills in all the gaps of all the processes and things that Salesforce doesn't do really quickly. And even now looking at AI, I'm going, well, actually, there's quite a few App Exchange, which I'm sure will not exist in like 2 years' time, even some major ones, because they're just going to get replaced by AI, right?
Yep. You know what, Francis? I hope you remember the Salesforce idealization. So there is a thing in Salesforce, like if you have an idea or if you see a
Yeah.
gap, you just go ahead and put it. And they have their own scoring and recording system. I don't know how they have upgraded it in the recent last 1 2 years. So what we used to do is like we used to go through all the ideas, okay, and we used to see like, okay, which one is something which Salesforce is working on and which one they have ignored. And that's
Yeah.
where we used to click on like, okay, let's launch something for App Exchange, okay, and let us see whether we are able to solve the problem for so many people who have voted onto that, and that made us a strong partner in the Salesforce ecosystem. And it's a one step at a time kind of thing, because it's not that easy to come up to take an idea, work onto it, and launch a product on App
Yeah.
Exchange. But that has also changed a lot, and I think that has built in more trust to a particular Salesforce ecosystem. That yes, it is going to evolve for better. So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
one point.
Okay, guys. So London's Calling is coming up. Who's looking forward to joining us at London's Calling?
Oh, I'm not going to be there. No. Don't give it this.
So Francis, tell us a bit more about your journey, maybe in London's Calling. I mean, you've been running it for about 15 years now, and like, how have you seen the journey going forward in the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, we started 10 years ago, so this is our 10th anniversary this
okay,
year, which I
yeah.
think coincides with Cloud.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it was crazy. It was like back of a napkin idea of, hey, let's bring the community together. Not really realizing wondering if anybody would turn up to the event. And then 10 years later, it's like, 900 person event with just loads of sponsors supporting us. We've got 9 tracks of talks with content from admin to architecture, marketing, all kinds of stuff throughout the day. And yeah, it's going to be really exciting, hopefully, this year. And we've got some kind of, as always, new little things appearing during the day because it's our 10th anniversary. So we're going to hopefully party hard. But yeah, I think it's quite interesting when I talk to people about these community events like London's Calling versus the Salesforce events, and I think there's a lot more people finding a lot more value out of the community events because they kind of get the real world, how do you do this at the coalface type solutions to problems. And actually, I think it helps Salesforce out as well because then they can focus on their events, on selling and telling people about the new features and functionality, and then we fill in the core platform, day in the life of a admin architect, and how to solve, those classic day-to-day problems.
Okay.
See, community-driven events like London Calling has its own superb value. Believe me, like something having a certain event is having a backing from a big product. That's a different game. When a community is backing a particular event, which is this London Calling, it brings a lot of value for everyone within the community. So that's a great thing. And 10 years, congratulations, 10 years.
I know, yeah, it's bonkers. I'm like, how did we get here? This is insane. But actually, I love it. Also, even Salesforce are like, we can help you if you want to, but we don't want to help you because we don't want to, change what you've done, which is brilliant. So if we do need help, we know they're there, right, to support us and help us financially or whatever it may be. But yeah, so that's great, great company to do that. I don't think any other company would be like, oh, you're using our brand to do something, oh, you've got to do it this way or whatever. But no, it's really good. You really let us be free in what we want to learn and what the community we think is going to be good for the community. So it's a great one.
That's great. AJ, maybe one last thing. What can attendees expect from the Cloud Analogy booth at London's Calling?
Great. So I would like to start with one thing. So this is going to be my third London Calling event. Okay, so I have attended in past. I know everything in and out. I loved it. This time, I'm so proud to say that we are sponsoring it. So we are one of the proud sponsors as well. And yes, my goal or my agenda or Cloud Analogy's agenda would be to launch two of our really good products over there. So one is marketing campaign utility and one is FilestoFolder. We'll try to get as much feedback from the community, from the people who are supposed to give some amazing feedback, true ones, okay? Not from the customers whom we are selling or XYZ, but we definitely would love to have some customers. But yes, so that's going to be our goal. Other than that, having a true sit down with the right people, like-minded people, is one thing which I'm looking forward for.
Okay, great.
Yeah, honestly, we couldn't do it without our sponsors, right? Because, we wouldn't have an event. It costs ridiculous amounts of money to put the event on. But yeah, and I love it when the expo hall, everybody's in it together. You're like 2 coffee chats away from that fix or that job or that next job or that solution or even product idea that you can kind of take away. And that's why I kind of love the kind of community events, which is kind of rare in the enterprise tech world at the moment. Okay, so I've got a question for AJ. Now, with all this kind of disruption that AI is coming, where do you think is the industries that are going to be most affected or benefit from the AI revolution that's happening?
One thing I am absolutely sure about, and I'm quite confident everyone would also agree with me, is everywhere where we are able to see B2C. So wherever there is a end customer, end user, there will be disruption. Okay. Now, let it be education, let it be healthcare, let it be anything where there is an end customer who is actually interacting with the CRM, and the transparency of that interaction, or to say like the closeness of that interaction, will increase a lot. So all the industries definitely where there is a B2C direct connect, we'll be able to see. With Salesforce, definitely the agent force and many companies trying to build their own agentic AIs and all. So this is a great time. We are in a great time now.
Yeah, and I think it's quite interesting now that we're kind of like, we're just seeing the emergence of the kind of the agent-to-agent APIs and things like this, where, as a consumer, that can become really powerful, where I can ask my AI to say, go off and get an insurance quote. It knows all the information about me. It can get the best price based on my circumstance by talking to all the other insurance company AIs out there and agents. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, but also how, I don't know, or even you actually get is there kind of product placement start happening within the AIs where they're actually adjusting it such that you're always getting that insurance company coming through because they're getting the AI company's getting a kickback from the response. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, those will be the initial. You can call it like initial shaky hands or like places. Yeah, because like at the
right?
Yeah, whether it is actually happening or not, whether the same things, like for everything, a human mind is programmed to double check. Like, okay, let me check it whether it is correct. Like even the invoice, let us say any documentation. Especially, I'm scared about the legal part. Okay, so so this is one of my corporate lawyer. So he came to me and he asked like, okay, we know you are doing such big things in CRM and all. So and they are also listening a lot of AI going on, right? So what legal part or legal decision making or will that be disrupted? I'm like, yes, everyone is trying, but I really doubt, because everything should be vetted, and that will add in an extra layer of human interaction, right? So again, it's a lot of uncertainty, but super exciting times.
Yeah. I think even like the legal, it's always like the legal laws and stuff are always kind of a step behind, obviously, innovation and change. So I was talking to actually I've got my own podcast, Salesforce podcast, and actually I've got an episode coming out that kind of we talk about this a bit, where the financial laws in the UK, they need there's a kind of a responsibility of the financial banks and things to make sure that they're doing the best for the customer, right? So they're not putting them on too much debt or too many loans or whatever it may be. But with AI, they could find out, which customers are gambling lots, and therefore it's a detriment to their financial stability or whatever, and they've got a duty of care to support that customer in their financials, right, legally. But then if they've got AI and they can find that out, what do they do? Because now they can see that. Legally, they have a duty of care. So does that mean they have to talk to that person or put them in front of some other, gambling awareness, So it's kind of interesting how now they're going to have all this information, be able to determine patterns and things of how people spend, and therefore this duty of care clash. What do they do, right? Do they just not use AI so they don't have to comply with that? Or do they use it and therefore have to find out a way of complying with that law? So I think, legally there's going to be some interesting things happening, I think.
Yeah, especially in all the industries where there is the data of a user is the holy grail. In all those industries where there is a security issue related to, let us say, like precision mapping, right? A particular person's GPS location, healthcare. Okay, you can do a lot of things in that, but all these needs to be very well, I would say, vetted, thought of nicely.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be interesting. Do you have any questions for me?
Yes. Francis, I would like to know a bit about you personally. So, inspiration. What inspired you for this London calling, this kind of continuous, consistent event section? So, can you tell me about that?
And continuous pain of putting on a event that is pretty much a full-time job every year, right? For free.
Yeah.
I think it kind of roots back to it's actually really interesting because it must be 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I became a Salesforce MVP. And it was they used to do these summits where all the MVPs across the world would kind of come into San Francisco and would have a big kind of event summit with all the MVPs. And I remember the first time they did it, and I walked into the room and I just saw lots of people just like me that were obsessive at wanting to help other people and support people and want to learn from each other. And I think that is it. It was kind of the wanting to kind of give everybody the opportunity to learn and have the same opportunities as everybody else. And that's, I think, where London's Calling came from. And then everything I've kind of done, I suppose, is kind of similar to that as well, with my training and things like that. And just hearing the stories on the impact that's had is quite interesting. Like I was talking to somebody from Pakistan who didn't know there was a Salesforce and community until she watched the stream online of London's Calling. Then she got involved in the community, and now she has her own kind of meetups. She's training her own community in Salesforce, and it's kind of changed her life, her family's life, and everybody in her kind of community in Pakistan. So, and she's kind of self-sufficient as well. And it's kind of great to kind of see that happen and know that, hey, you made a little difference somewhere in the world and made somebody,
very
more
inspirational. Very inspirational.
And that's why I do it. Even though it's horrendous amounts of work.
Great. You know what, like another, I'm not sure whether I'm going on track or off track, but like last weekend, sorry, I told my wife about you, like especially the Harry Potter part. Okay. And she was like, no, I want to go to London Calling now. And I'm like, you have nothing connection to this. And like, no, I want to. And I'm like, initially it was all like, and guys, everyone should go and check out the IMDb. You'll get Francis.
My IMDb page, yes.
Yeah. She reviewed it and she showed it to me. I'm like, great, man. You're doing the homework for me.
My and that's how I got into Salesforce. Actually, if it wasn't for Harry Potter,
it's a story. It's a story I want to hear. Yeah.
So basically, I was I kind of woke up one morning and I was like, I want to be in Harry Potter, and because I read the books and it was quite cool. It's like, how can I be in the film? Like, how is that possible? I knew I was no way I was going to be an actor. No way I was going to do anything in production. I didn't experience. And so I looked on IMDb because the first film had come out. Went through every company on it to try and see, well, where is there an in? And I saw there's an extras agency on it, on the list. And I thought, you know what? Let's go for it. So I joined the extras agency that Harry Potter or the Warner Brothers used. And I then started going up the pecking order in the extras agency, essentially. And became a support. There's basically different levels. First, it's just crowd shots. You get chucked in a crowd. If you don't turn up, it's not the end of the world. But then once they realise you're dependable and you're going to turn up, then I started getting all kinds of random things like being in an advert with Gordon Ramsay, doing various BBC things. And eventually they said, oh, do you want to help us out on this film? I'm like, okay, yeah. And they said, oh, by the way, it's Harry Potter. I'm like, yes, I've done it. and it turned out to be Fred Weasley's stunt double. So I then did that for a film, and then got interested in film visual effects because a lot of the shots I did were visual effects shots with the other stunt double as well. And then from that, I went into a film visual effects company. I learned all about visual effects and creating 3D or 2D effects. And then they hired me for creating e-learning content or creating an e-learning system, but also to find a replacement CRM system. That's when I found Salesforce and went, this is the future of tech. I then quit there and never looked back. So that was it. So if it wasn't for Harry Potter and getting me interested in visual effects and then getting me into the visual effects company who wanted to release their CRM, I don't think I would have got into the Salesforce world.
That's absolutely like connecting the dots. You just don't know when the dots will get connected. So great. I also have one important, coming back to London Calling topic, Francis, I also want to understand, especially for our viewers or whoever is watching this, a list of to-dos. What should they do?
Yeah.
And
okay.
And probably one or two not to-dos. Like, don't do.
I think we know what those are.
Okay. I think number one is check the app, right? We're about to launch online tickets as well. So if you're anywhere in the world, you'll be able to watch it as well. But if you got the app, look at the app and look at all the sessions beforehand that you want to go and see, and kind of tag them and flag them, the ones you want to see, right? Your top list. But, and this is my don't fill up your entire day, because for me, like the collaboration, the learning, having those random coffees with people, are the things that make Salesforce, right? It's making those connections. And for me, that is the most valuable thing about these community events, making connections. You know, you've seen that speaker talking like about Marketing Cloud, for example, and is a guru in Marketing Cloud, and then striking a conversation afterwards, because you can at a community event, and talking to them and asking them questions, then linking to them. And then now you've got them in your back pocket for any issues you've got for Marketing Cloud, right? And I think that's where the kind of community is brilliant, right? I know these people that are the gurus in different areas of Salesforce, and if I get stuck, then at least I can send them a quick message or something, or, do you know where I can find the answer to this, if I just can't find the answer anywhere else, which I think is like super valuable. So the networking piece is I think is really important. My number two, I think, would be, if you see one person on their own at a table, go to them, strike up a conversation, say hi, right? If there's a group of 3 people and you see 2 of them talking together and the other one hanging on the side, go up and talk to that one, right? And really kind of force yourself to talk to people. And again, it comes back to that collaboration and learning, as well as kind of going to the expo hall. And this is my number 3, right? It's not just about learning the content. It's also learning about all the app providers and what solutions they solve. And for some people, they'd go to London's Calling thinking, I'm just coming here for the event, seeing the sessions. And I remember one person, I asked them, what's your favorite thing of London's Calling? And she literally said, the expo hall, because I solved 2 of my problems that I've got currently in my org, and I've got 2 apps now that I know that can solve that problem. And I was like, yeah, this is cool, right? So yeah, leave time to go around the expo hall and just see the apps, at least get knowledgeable about what problems they solve, because you never know what you're going to need in the future. And then I think the 4th one, actually, there is a hidden one thing that I think, if you're an art lover or you kind of like art, then at the entrance of London's Calling, the event, just cross over the road, and there's there'll be like a little car parking spaces where these some cars are parked. But on the wall, there's a Banksy piece of art, and lots of people don't know it's there. So if you're a bit of an art lover, you want to see a bit of Banksy art, then cross over the road opposite London's Calling. There's some art there as well. So it's a bit of a local thing.
Great. One of the things which I definitely agree as a not to do or be careful is filling up your calendar for every minute.
Yeah.
Like that's the wrong thing. Everyone has done it. I have done it myself. And those are the initial days when you understand, like, no, this is not possible. This is not humanly possible to follow your calendar.
You can't
especially
do it,
when
exactly, yeah. It's impossible. And also, like they're all recorded, right? All the sessions. So and one of the problems is you'll see that there's 9 tracks of talks like going on every time there's a session on. And you will see, like, it's a good thing to have. You'll see, like, I want to see 3 of those sessions, right? But I can't. I've got to pick one of them. So that's why we record them all, so you can watch them afterwards. But also, we've got breakfast, lunch, and party food as well. So literally, you're going to be fed throughout. So come with an empty stomach.
Great. One last question. Okay, so definitely there would be many people who would be attending it for the 10th time. Okay, but then there will be many people who would be attending it for the first time, or probably being in the city for the first time. Okay, like what all are your favorite places they should visit after London Calling?
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, one of my favourite places in London is the Tower of London, because it's got so much history there. You've got the White Tower, the Bloody Tower, Anne Boleyn got beheaded, I think. Is that the right one? Yeah, but there's so much history there. And it's an amazing venue, an amazing place to see. Also, it's right next to Tower Bridge, so you can see the tower going up. And what I love doing is, so my main station when I get into London is Waterloo Station. And the walk on the South Bank between Waterloo Station and the Tower and Tower Bridge, and then crossing over Tower Bridge to the Tower of London, is probably my favourite thing to do. Like walking along South Bank, you see all these crazy, food stalls and skateboarders and the river, and you can see everything that's going on, and coffee shops and stuff and food places as you go along as well. And it's just, really nice. That's probably my favourite thing to do in London.
Yeah, that's a really good walk. I've done that walk many, many times. I used to work for a company down there, so I used to literally walk to work in the morning on that route.
Yeah, it's
really good.
Awesome. You can't miss. Yeah.
But then for the sports lovers, obviously there's lots to do in London, right? You can go to Lord's Cricket Ground for a tour there. You can go to the Emirates Stadium, the mighty Arsenal. Or if you support a really poor team, you can go to Tottenham Hotspur. But the one other thing I would say, probably near to you, Francis, I'm not sure if you've been, to the Wimbledon Tennis Museum.
Oh, yes, yeah.
At Wimbledon.
At Wimbledon.
Which is really cool, yeah.
So, because I work in Wimbledon, and obviously I've been here for like decades, I've never been. It's one of those things where, you live locally and you never see your part of the world, right? I think if I'm an expert on New Zealand, if you want, I've toured and travelled that like multiple times. Yeah, but where I come from, no, not so much. But yeah, I've been to Wimbledon tennis though is amazing. Like doing eating the strawberries and cream, I haven't actually ever done the museum.
Yeah, the museum is open all year round. So obviously the tennis is only open for 2-3 weeks a year, but the museum is open all year round. You can go in there anytime and see all the past champions and all the memorabilia and stuff. It's really cool if you like sport. Yeah,
you can't not get into tennis if you live down here. So
exactly.
Right. It's interesting. I didn't knew that tennis was so famous I thought cricket was always the great one.
I don't know. Tennis is a strong contender as well, I think. Yeah. It's been there for quite a long time, but yeah. AJ, if you could change one thing in Salesforce for the better, what would it be?
Okay, it's a very good question.
No, I know. It's like,
be careful what you say. Be careful what you say.
Functional or...
So, you know what my standard statement should be? I love Salesforce. Like three words, done. But yeah, see, if I'm not trying to be a critic. I'm a tech guy myself. I love technology, but definitely I think I wish Salesforce all the success, because that's our mothership altogether, right? And the better it goes, the more it grows up, that's better. One thing I definitely am able to see a good change, or to say like that, I think that change should happen across, is also catering to the small size businesses. So yes, there is a lot of scope in big enterprise, Fortune 500, Fortune 5000 companies. Great, but the focus should also be on which I think they are doing last 1 year. They have started doing that. So
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like it does need configuring, right? But I think they are kind of trying to evolve more wizards, more easy, adoption of it from a very, very basic start, which I think is a good move for them. Yeah, totally.
And it's not always about rates. Many times it's about adoption. That's what we mentioned.
Exactly,
how quickly it can be up and running. So, yeah.
Okay, I've got one last question. Now, I asked this on my podcast to all my guests, and I'm going to ask it to you, right? If you could wind the clock back to a point in time in the past, what advice would you give yourself, and what point in time would that have been?
So I have a lengthy answer for that. I hope everyone has the patience. So how I interpret this world and this life is, I interpret that there is not one single AJ. Okay, I interpret there are three AJs working together. Okay, try to understand the concept. Okay? The concept is that there are three AJs who are working simultaneously at the same time. One AJ is the AJ in past who has worked really hard for this current AJ who is in front of you to be here, to be that as an example, as a success, as a failure, whatever. Okay, and then there is a third AJ which is in the future. Okay, so the future AJ is always chanting out like, go, 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 you can do it. This is the place where you want to be. This is what you want to achieve. So these three AJs needs to work together. And luckily, so far in my life, I'm getting to that stage when I'll be turning 40 soon. But so far in my life, all these three AJs have been connected together. So, Francis, so far I don't have any point where I want to go back and give an advice. I think I'm able to connect with all the three AJs. Yeah.
Okay, cool, brilliant. So AJ, as you've created a number of apps in the Salesforce ecosystem over the years, right? And you've been super successful doing that. But if there was somebody else that's new to the ecosystem and they see an idea and a gap and they want to create an app in the app exchange or in the ecosystem, what advice would you give them as the first thing to do, or advice generally?
Great. A very good question. And definitely a person getting this idea can be of multiple different categories. So number one, a tech guy or a technical guy trying to create something or trying to solve a problem. Okay. So, or second is a guy who is non-technical but has a problem which he is able to see, he or she is able to see and understand, and they want to solve that problem and create an app. So number one, for the first person, if you are a tech guy, don't look left or right, just go ahead, try to create it, because your strength is creation, your strength is development. You can go ahead and develop it faster than anyone else. Okay, but once you reach to a phase one, or to be very true, all the apps or whatever you are developing, it should be a phase-wise structure, because I have seen many people struggling, like they are stuck at a particular place, or they don't know when to take that to the market, or probably when to launch it, or when they are able to call it as the problem is solved. Okay, so plan it out nicely and just go ahead for developing it if you are a tech guy. Okay, if you are a non-tech guy and you have a problem and a brilliant solution to it, try to think around all the scenarios, try to probably see other CRMs as well, because no matter how much we love Salesforce, there are other CRMs, they are doing different things probably differently.
No, there's not. Okay? There's only Salesforce, right?
In our universe, that's a parallel universe. So try to do a good real set of investigation, and then get your hands dirty and try to develop an app. Yeah, those are my experience, and experience are good and bad, but they all the experience is good, right? Yeah.
Brilliant.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We're really looking forward to London's Calling. We're really excited to all be at the booth and to meet all you guys, and to have those conversations, as Francis was saying, over a coffee, just to connect and understand where you're at, and maybe we can help you It'll be great to see you all. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks a
you,
lot.
everyone.
See ya.